Good morning, those, for our final morning. And the question is, how much energy can we save? All the things that cost energy and money, and fuel, and all the other things. So reducing energy consumption is the mission.
How does it feel to be back at the forum, back at events? Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's great to be back at the forum. Obviously, after this COVID period, everything is coming down slowly, and we were concerned the last weeks if this was going to happen or not. I know you have made a big effort to make it happen, and we're very grateful. And yeah, it's great. The topics are really interesting. Seeing the people and all the networking, it's also great. I think the direction of the forum has gone more to sustainability, new propulsion systems, and all more related with where the industry should be going, and that's great for us because that's the direction also where our industry and where especially our company is going. So yeah, we're very happy. It has been great, and we're very grateful to you for organizing.
Yeah, I mean, human capital came up quite a lot in the last 3 days, and I know that Astilleros de Mallorca are working a lot with the local university, but I wanted to explore a little bit about what you're doing to bring young people into the refit sector.
Well, we have, as I said, for the biggest, let's say, engineering jobs, mechanical, welding, piping, electricity, we have our own manpower, as I said, that they integrate our workshops, so we need to have this capacity of people. As I said, I think based on the millennials current or the youngest people, maybe working on a shipyard is not the most sexy thing, as for someone who doesn't know much about shipbuilding. So we needed to bring what we do and to explain what we do more to our local universities and schools. So we created this agreement with the University of Mallorca where we can teach the people in different specialties, in the specialties of the workshops, of course, but also in specialties of project management, so they can also run the projects with ourselves. Because we see this need, we see that the industry is growing so much because of more interest, and we need to reply to this also having the manpower ready. As I said, facilities are easier to make than to make the human capital team that can make the works. So that's why one of the things that we're doing is to educate people so we can count with local manpower, which is always better, and also to show a little bit to the government that our industry, it's bringing something else that rich people on their yachts. It's bringing work and higher standard work for our community. So I think yacht services and yacht refit is the first industry in the Balearic Islands, obviously after tourism, but let's say considering industrial specialties is the first one. So we need to prove that what we're bringing to the society is also something positive. Someone said one of these days, in a very, let's say, simple way to explain, we have clients which are the most powerful and rich people in the world, and we are taking their money and employing hundreds of people. So in a way, I think someone said it was quite funny that they were like Robin Hoods of the industry. In a way, we're creating that this richness that they could just buy a piece of art or just save the money, they're putting it back to society. So that's why we try to bring local people to our industry.
And do you think that the government in the Balearics are kind of recognizing that the yachting sector does bring so many economic benefits to the region?
I think they are. Yeah, I think they are more and more with the time, as well, because it's something obvious when you look at the amount of people that is working in our industry. And I think that collaborating with companies as ourselves, we are showing them that we need to be quick reacting to what the market demands in matters of educating people, as we said before, and preparing them, but also in matters of facilities, to have an up-to-date facilities where we can hold out the size of yachts that are actually being built, and when we can have all the projects that we could have. I mean, at the moment in Palma, we do the amount of projects that we have space for. So on the last winters we have been always fully booked, and we have always rejected work, which is obviously not positive because we have the capacity to do the projects, we just don't have the space. And I think the local authorities are aware of this and they are collaborating with us. Obviously, We would like things to go faster than they are, but I think we can feel we have their support and they are in the same direction than us.
The question we have is how much energy can we save?
As a naval architect, you're always looking at how to make it more efficient, how to make it more comfortable.
Having that conversation early with somebody who understands those ideas, I think, is really important.
Lorenzo, simply put, what needs to change in the lead up to 2030?
Yes, I think that our industry has to follow the waves of the new changement. I would like to try to reply to this question or to this proposition looking from the regulatory perspective.
Sure.
I would say if we consider what is happening in the story of our industry in terms of safety, the safety technology and investment are clearly a result for our industry, but I would say for the maritime industry entirely, were the results of regulatory settings.
Sure.
In our industry, in particular in front of the environmental objectives and sustainability objectives, probably we are facing an opposite situation. So regulation is not yet set. So innovation is on the way. For our industry, because of the market is pushing for that, it's clear that our members, the CBAS members, I would say all members are facing new projects because of their intention to comply the changement in looking at 2030, but also because of the customer's demand.
Sure.
So the regulator in this stage will follow. I would say innovation before legislation, if you want.
I think that's the ideal situation. How much is that the reality? Because we would love as an industry to be innovators first and following regulations second. But is that the reality at the moment, or is it something we're going to get to?
No, the reality is the current work we all are doing, including you as a media, I would say, and I appreciate very much from my point of view. I think that our industry now has to share experience with other industries, not only maritime, also shore industry, if you want. So the hybrid proposition, which is the first step to go to the full changement, it consists of getting on board some electric power. How you produce electric power, it's a problem of maritime industry, but not only. So indeed, that's the point. I think that a very much rational and coordinated approach for the maritime industry is very much the route and the path to be followed.
A question that might be slightly controversial, but in terms of CBAS, obviously is the leader for the industry. They have the voice in the IMO. Is CBAS sufficient, or does it need more input from the industry-wide? Obviously, there's the shipbuilders are the core, but we have the designers, we have the brokers, we have the naval architects. Should CBAS expand its input?
But in some way, we are already doing, because you are fully aware that CBAS consists of shipyards. But you are also fully aware that CBAS created, inspired the creation of, just to make an example, which is a strong example, the Water Revolution Foundation. Water Revolution Foundation is a fully independent organization. So from my perspective as CBAS, Water Revolution is the scientific base from which I will start also to lobby the IMO work. Water Revolution Foundation consists of not only shipyards, but brokers, designers. So the results of the huge work being done by Water Revolution is already the base for our activity. We already started our activity because we are both in a lucky and also dangerous position in the IMO. Currently, IMO is not officially taking care of superyacht industry in front of the greenhouse gas emission reduction.
Yeah.
Because of the current IMO approach consists in taking care of what they consider being 80% of the global fleet impacting the greenhouse gas emissions. So this is the lucky point. The unlucky point is that if we realized already some years ago that if we would have done nothing, we would have suffered sooner or later the result of, in terms of regulatory approach, of the work done for other industries, maybe the cruise industry, which is a very similar industry to the superyacht, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Similar but not the same.
Exactly. So I appreciate very much, was during our forum in these days were said, we have to follow how shipping industry is moving, not what they are doing.
Sure.
So it's clear. We have already created a greenhouse gas task force within CBAS because of the approaches from shipyard.
Sure.
But again, I repeat, we are taking care of the results of what is being done at full industry level. So the work in IMO is not easy, but in some way, taking into consideration that in front of the sustainability, legislation is coming after the innovation. So IMO set principles. So you have to reduce CO2, you have to reduce the global footprint, but is not yet able to say how.
Yeah.
So, and in this sense, what is called the NGO. So we are an NGO, a non-governmental organization in a permanent consultative status, become very precious for the IMO because we are setting the principles to be adopted and accepted by member states, which are the authority, but we are very much listened to. So that's a way. So a combination of work together with other shipping industry, but as a separate industry because we have some very different peculiarity. One over the others. The ratio, looking at the energy consumption, energy absorption, the ratio between the operational and the hotel service.
I think we've spoken about this previously. Isn't the operational something like 60 or 70%?
Yeah, and that is exactly the result, one of the result of the jetty approach. So I prefer, I'm happy to make this example because this is a very typical example. We are able to demonstrate to the IMO that if we want to take care of the footprint and reduce in general the footprint impacting the atmosphere, we have to take care not only of the yacht sailing, but the power on board.
Sure.
And probably, provided that the energy optimization in the sailing approach has already been done, or
we at least know it's coming.
But in regard to the hotel energy, we have something to do.
Absolutely. Perfect. Well, Lorenzo, that was absolutely brilliant. Thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Thanks.
First of all, obviously I want to say thanks to all of you for being here this year. It's been a really weird year. We had that nervous moment last week. We turned up, we delivered, and I hope you all had a great time. Thanks to the partners, thanks to all the speakers, thanks to the delegates, obviously, as you just all have been so lovely. Thanks to Ken for my co-chairing and running around like a madman. Thank you, Ken. And thanks to my team for putting up with me and doing what they do. And we only had an events team 6 weeks ago, which is one person, and the rest of the team rallied around her. It's been amazing. So listen, thanks guys. We are going to now sort of report everything, record everything, and produce what I call a list of project topics for our live tour, which will start in Dubai next month. We've got London, Southampton, Bremen, Hamburg, etc., and then we're going to Palma in April. It's going to be a fantastic tour of conversations where we dig into these topics with more depth and more interest. If you are part of our community, you'll be invited.